Chase from Seeing Woodwork here. Today I'm going to talk about the scroll saw and maybe using it in a few ways that you haven't thought of before. So as you can see, I've got a few different blade choices laid out here to use on the scroll saw, and there are a lot of different blades that you can use for a scroll saw, and there are a lot of different blades that you wouldn't think you could use that you can use to cut different materials. You're looking at just kind of a regular reverse tooth blade, which means that it's got teeth on the bottom side and the top side, so you have cleaner cuts on the back of your piece. There's spiral cut blades, which allow you to cut 360 degrees, and they're all just for cutting different materials, and they're all pretty normal scroll saw blades. Now, a few things you may not have heard of: you can use bandsaw blades, 1/4-inch bandsaw blade. This is a 3/8 inch bandsaw blade, and I have a little jig. That I made for cutting these blades. So I happen to live around a few mills and places that do woodworking, so I just go pick up their old broken blades, and a lot of times the blades are still sharp, and I just take the edge of the broken blade and I put it in where my blade is, and then I'll cut it off pretty close to the end, and then it'll work just like a scroll saw blade, and that'll allow you to cut different thickness material, maybe a bigger thickness. You can cut 2x4s pretty simply with that. And then the 1/4-inch one, basically it's the same thing, but you got to think that you can get, depending on the size of bandsaw blade, you can get quite a few of these blades out of a bandsaw blade, and you're going to get it for free because it's a broken bandsaw blade in the trash. Also, hacksaw blades, if you're cutting metal, you can take a hacksaw blade, and basically it's the same procedure. You just place it in I just place it in the blade, and this is real. You could measure and cut if you weren't doing this often. I go through blades like crazy, so I have this little jig that just helps me make a blade real quick if I need it. But this is just was a 12-inch 24 TPI hacksaw blade, and I'll use that if I'm cutting something metal. And then sanding, you can also do sanding on the scroll saw. Now, I don't have a pinned end on my scroll saw, it's a plain end. But as you can see, this is just a piece of 300 grit sanding paper, and I've just folded it over a few times. This is a good 3M sanding paper. If you buy good sandpaper and you put some backing on it, or it's got good backing on it, it'll last you way longer than the cheap kind of the Harbor Freight style paper, sandpaper, where all the grits come off and everything like that. But anyway, so this has just been folded over. As you can see, it's been folded a couple times. Maybe we can get it to focus here for you. Fold it over a couple times, and I'll just put this into the end of where my blade would normally go, and I can actually use this to sand small details on scroll saw projects, which is really handy because you can't always get in there. And a rasp, you can use little needle files and stuff, but that can get tedious, and it doesn't always give the best finish either. So let's take a look at maybe applying some of these and how I use them in my workflow. Alright, so here I've got a few examples, as you can see, just laid out. And we're just going to go through these real quick, and I'll just show you how to use the blades and what they can do and what they can't do, anything like that. I'm only going to cover the couple that I've got over here, kind of the uncommon blades that you're not going to buy, that you may have to manufacture yourself. This sandpaper, the folded sandpaper that you'd use for sanding, would come in handy when you're doing some work like this. So if you're doing like a panel that has a lot of these little tiny spots, you're going to be in here with a rasp if you got a little tear out, something like that. Especially on this is just some veneered MDF, where you might get these little fuzzies, whatever. Now this one I don't really have to show you, but I can tell you that I can show you that it works just real quick. So the only thing you have to worry about if you're using it for sanding is the tension. Now, most of the time in my scroll saw, I keep a blade like this, depending on what I'm doing, which is just a kind of a bigger, I think it's like a 9 TPI. The other thing we can talk about too is inserts for the scroll saw, and I make my own inserts for them, so you can use that too, especially with something like this. The metal, if it gets caught in the metal, it gets cut in one of these little cuts that I've made where I obviously pushed a little hard on something. It'll rip the sandpaper, so be aware of that as well. So I'm going to switch this insert out, and we're just going to pop this guy in here. I just want to make sure that I have enough to get into the blade clamp and hold it securely. So if I can get you looking down there, so you can see that it's in the blade clamp, holding securely. And the tension doesn't have to be real high with this. So whatever, because you're just sanding anyway, so you're not gonna goof anything up. So let's just put one of these on here. And these are nice to have because having a zero clearance in there while you're working prevents a lot of tear out and a lot of problems that you run into on the scroll saw. So you'll just basically, you're just going to put it on like a regular blade. And I'm only going to show you on the side of this because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing it. And if you get good sandpaper, you can actually tension it pretty tight. Like this 3M stuff will hold a pretty tight tension. You can see it doesn't even move very much, and I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on it. So I'd use it at the slow speed to start. So obviously it's rubbing. You can use either side. You can use this side or you can use this side. Doesn't really matter. It's 300 grit, so it's not going to be too aggressive. You could use any grit you'd like, really. And you can just go along the edge and sand, and it'll actually knock down any burrs you've got going on, anything like that on the side of your piece. It's really handy. It's really durable. I mean, I can be rough with this, and it doesn't hurt it at all. Like at the bottom of this one, I've got a little spot where you can see I got out of line here, and if I wanted to just kind of line that up, maybe make it less noticeable. Obviously it's not going to make it perfectly symmetrical with the other line following in parallel, but look, you can see it's definitely sanding. There we go, it's getting there. And you can put pressure. Now it will cause a little bow in the wood, so if you're dealing with something that's a little bit wider piece of wood, or a little bit thicker piece of wood, then it might cause a little bow where this is bowing out, but usually it's not an issue. You're not trying to cut 90s on the scroll saw anyway. Hopefully you've got something else to do that, because that usually doesn't work out very well. So you can see that I've kind of rubbed out this little janky mark that I had in here, and it looks pretty smooth. It's still not perfect, but great application for this, especially if I had to do this a bunch of times. Say I had to get all this stuff worked out and there were some little weird spots and whatever else. This would be a great solution versus using something like a hand needle file, something like that. In fact, a lot of woodworkers don't even own a scroll saw, and it's a little baffling to me. And maybe that's because I have noise constraints and my shop is very small. But I have noise constraints, so I try to respect my neighbors and try not to make too much noise after 9 o'clock, when really I could work all night if I wanted to. But after 9 o'clock, I try not to run the table saw, and I try not to run the the bandsaw or anything that might make a whole lot of noise. And that's when the scroll saw really can shine, because it's so easy, it's so quiet, and it'll get the job done for most things. Granted, like I said before, you're not going to be cutting 90s, you're not going to be cutting perfect boxes, things like that on the scroll saw. It's definitely easier with a little more curved work, but it will do the job just fine. So this is the 1/4-inch bandsaw blade here, and we'll just cut this. This is a 3/4 piece of ply. We'll just cut this. Now I'm going to get some tear out on the bottom, I can tell you that already, but if you're just doing a quick cut, you're making, just quick product, even if you had a long piece and it was easier to use the scroll saw to cut to size before you did final dimensions, this is a great option, and I've done that quite a few times too. So with this, you'll want to use it almost like a bandsaw, so you're going to turn it up to the higher speed, and it cuts perfectly fine. Now I'll also go to the bigger bandsaw blade. Now the way I'm mounting these in here, now like I said, my scroll saw doesn't take pinned blades, it takes flat end blades. So the way it's mounted in here is you just press the back of the bandsaw blade to where the screw is and clamp it down. And you got to clamp it kind of hard, especially, if you're cutting 2x4s with this, which you can, and we're about to, then you want to make sure you clamp it down hard, because it's going to be a lot more pressure than it's normally used to. But you also have more surface area on a blade like this than you have on a smaller blade too. So if you clamp down real hard, usually it's not going anywhere. I've never had one of these bandsaw blades jump out. of the clamp after I clamped it. So even if I didn't clamp it that hard. So basically you tension it just like normal. You kind of feel it out. These are different because obviously they don't stretch kind of like the regular scroll saw blades do. They don't have that tension to them. So you don't have to either tension them that hard. You'll just feel it out. You know, use your brain. Be in touch with your tools. So this is just a regular size 2x4 cut off. And this is real easy to cut with a blade like this. So as you can see, a little bit of tear out on the back, not the cleanest cut, but in a real quiet, less dusty pinch, I'd say that that definitely fits the bill. What else do I got here? Oh, I've got the hacksaw blade, and we can try that next. We've got a piece of steel here that we can try to cut. And this isn't really me experimenting. This is all just stuff from in my shop. So I got sick of using the angle grinder to cut stuff. As far as the metal, I got sick of starting the table saw every time, and then I have dust everywhere and things like that. So this will go in the same way. It's a lot bigger, a lot wider blade, but it'll go in the same way. You just nudge it up against that screw, the set screw there, clamp her down, and make sure your tension's down, and lock it in place. This one, if it's got like these hacksaw blades, these crummy hacksaw blades have paint all over them, so you want to make sure that you clamp it down real good in that. And this one obviously has been used. It's pretty dull actually, but I think it'll probably still cut. Now, another thing to think about is safety. You also, when you're switching, a lot of people that normally use a scroll saw don't use eye protection. And if you're switching to these bandsaw blades or something cutting metal, you want to use eye protection because you're changing the game completely, and you can get pieces of metal flying in your eye. You can get hot, so sometimes you want to use gloves. So these are all things to keep in mind. Your safety precautions are going to change as you're changing the way that you're working. So we've got our blade in here. It's tensioned well. We'll just see if we can cut this, how much effort it takes. You may still need a little bit of cutting fluid, something like that to help you along. Might just be good to move the chips out, but let's get this cut here. So that's just like an 1/8" bar stock from a filing cabinet. I think I just collected that. But as you can see, it cuts through it. Real nice, real easy. That's much easier than getting out the grinder and putting all the wheel on them, whatever. All I have to do is put a blade on the scroll saw. And the blade doesn't cost me anything. What are hacksaw blades? Like $3 for 100 hacksaw blades? Something at Harbor Freight? It's crazy. So, you can cut metal. You can do sanding. You can cut big pieces. I've made tons of stuff on the scroll saw. The scroll saw is my most used tool in my little shop, and probably my favorite tool. And it just does way more than I think people realize. Now, I know somebody's going to ask me, what about the durability of the saw? How long is it going to last? You're beating up your saw. Is it hard on the bearings? Well, the answer is yes. It's hard on the bearings. It's hard on the saw. The saw is made to work, though. Get yourself a good saw. You can pick these up real cheap. I have a Delta. It's probably, I don't know, 20, 30 years old, something like that. And I've been using this for 2 years. This way. This is my regular workflow. It's not something special for demonstration. I cut metal on this. I cut 2x4s, even thicker material than 2x4. I'll max out on, so this will cut, like 3 1/4. I'll max out to 3 1/4, cutting whatever on it. So this is my regular workflow. 2 years. Keep it lubricated where it pivots, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem. This has not given me a problem at all. I picked it up for $40 on Craigslist 2 years ago, and it still works great. Still is the workhorse of my workshop, and one of my favorite tools. All right, guys. Well, there's a look at a few unconventional methods for the scroll saw. This is one of the most underutilized machines in the shop, especially a small shop like mine, especially a shop that has noise constraints. This thing is a dream. It's one of my favorite tools. I use it in my daily workflow. This is all stuff that I figured out, just trying to figure out how to do things safer, smarter, and without the noise and without the dust. So hopefully you can take some of these methods and apply them in your own work. And if you have any comments, any questions, any other cool things that you do with a scroll saw or you could think to do with a scroll saw, feel free to post them in the comments or send them to me in an email or whatever. But until the next video, you guys have a good one.